I'm seeing on Twitter reports of explosions in Iran. So just to let you know.
So here we go.
Here we go.
Here we are.
And this is your legacy, Trump. Boy, it's going to get ugly.
I don't know. It's not official. I'm just seeing explosions. I don't know what that means, but I don't know if it's pagers or what.
Before the world does end, we hope that you'll go over to patreon.com/generational change. For as little as $5 a month, you could become a supporter of our small but mighty channel so that I have enough to, like maybe not as much as Tim Pool does with his underground utopia of lots of wonderful food and supplies that he has in case the rapture comes, but just enough so that I can survive and Jen can survive. So any support and all support is tremendously appreciated. And for those of you who are here already who have contributed, the Progressive Lefty, thank you so much for being a 3-month YouTube member. Greta is a hero. We agree. What she has obviously put herself through to bring greater attention to what's going on in Gaza cannot be understated. Teresa, one of our most awesome supporters, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. The Progressive Lefty, thank you for the $2.79 Canadian A. Brian is great. I watch all the stuff. Yes, we will definitely be looking out for Mr. Berliner going forward. I'm sure there will be more clips that we will play of him going forward that will be just as informative, and glad that you guys did enjoy the information that he was providing. And Cyan, thank you so much for the $5. The United States played a central and decisive role in the 1953 coup that overthrew Iran's democratically elected prime minister. That is correct. We have involved ourselves in a lot of nation meddling for generations. This isn't something new. We have been doing this for quite some time. But make no mistake, there's a reason why this is happening. We have talked time and again where a lot of these problems stem from. Now, I'm not going to say that Israel is responsible for every ill will and issue that is done around the world and even at home that we disagree with, although we certainly will hope right now that if in fact they have started bombing Iran, my God, we cannot cut ties with them fast enough. And I bring this up for a reason, because as bad as Donald Trump is, there are still people out there that are going to try to convince us all that our nation would be so much better off if we just let Kamala Harris win. Well, I'm here to play a little clip for you guys to show you that that is simply not the case.
Not in Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel.
The Jewish state has never had a better friend in the White House. We have to get the people of our country, of this country, to love Israel more. I have to tell you that. We have to do it. We have to get them to love Israel more.
America's commitment to Israel's security flows from a deeper place. The bonds between the United States and Israel are unbreakable. And the commitment of the United States to the security of Israel is ironclad.
And let me be clear. I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself.
I get criticized for having said a long time ago, you need not be a Jew to be a Zionist. I'm a Zionist.
We can say today that America is Israel's oldest and best friend in the world.
Yeah, best friend. To think that
it is official. Preemptive, they're calling it a preemptive strike from Israel. No, how can you say that with a straight face? But you could see the chess pieces. This is the ideal time for them to do it, and here we go.
And it was always the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no question that that is the plan. And if we are staring down the barrel of a third world war, hey, you asked for it, guys. We have stood stone, and I have called everybody out because I have not hesitated. And I have been very adamant since I have been doing commercial real estate for the past 2 years. I will not do business with Israelis. And they have infested the multifamily investment space. That is where they make their money. They've been doing it for generations. When you see those, shitty apartment buildings, poor tenant resources and everything all throughout New York City in particular, South Florida. Who do you think owns those buildings?
Mm.
It's all of them. That's what they own. And they have made billions upon billions of dollars, and it buys a hell of a lot of political influence, including one lady who owns 35 multifamily properties in Broward County alone, which is where Jen is based. And this was shortly after October 7th. And this lady's last name is also Wasserman, although I don't think they were related, because I think I had asked that question. She had family in Israel. And so I just, inquired and wanted to make sure that at least her family was okay. Didn't know the full extent of the bombings or anything like that. And she said, yeah, I'm good. I think I'm going to donate $1 million to the IDF. Just said it very flippantly. Like, yeah, I'm going to donate $1 million to the IDF. We must cut ties with this nation. It will bring us down. It is bringing us down every day. We are seeing the disintegration of our empire every day. Our constitutional republic is going to fall if we do not cut ties with Israel. Who in the fuck wants to be a part of this? The honest people that honestly know what's going on. Why would you ever want to have anything to do with this? That's my question. And so I bring this over to a topic that I wanted to cover, because if there is another person who I think embodies libertarianism, maybe not in its truest form, but certainly in a very reasonable way, that you can associate him with libertarianism, and that is Dave Smith. Another comic of all people, much like Tim Dillon, seems to have a very good grasp on social commentary and everything that's going on right now. Well, he has been spot on. And here comes another person, in my opinion, coming around because he recognizes the writing on the wall and how bad things are getting with Israel, is Piers Morgan. When Piers Morgan turns a corner, then you have to ask yourself, how much longer can we sustain this facade, this lie? I don't know. But they had on an attorney for Israel. I'm forgetting her name at the moment. Maybe one of you guys in the chat will recognize her when we put her up. But this was one of the most interesting takedowns I've ever seen regarding what's going on right now.
Here is that you're not allowed to tell the truth. You're Israel's lawyer, and you got to defend them no matter what. Natasha, does Israel have nuclear weapons?
Sorry, I'm an independent
Does Israel have nuclear weapons?
Of the English bar.
Yes or no?
That's a good question.
I'm not instructed.
Yes or no?
I'm
yes
not
or no,
instructed.
Natasha? Do they
Does Israel have nuclear weapons, Natasha?
Why do you think I would know any better than you, Piers?
I mean, last I checked, it does seem like the reason why JFK was assassinated was because he was preventing Israel from getting nuclear weapons. And they said, I guess we're going to have to do something about that guy. And that's why LBJ covered up the USS Liberty massacre, among other things. I mean, it's really not hard to see it, but here's a really simple example of just backing an Israeli power broker into a corner and asking them a very poignant question. And Natasha can't answer the question, or knows that if she does answer it truthfully, that is not going to be good for her, and it's not going to be good for Israel. Tell me I'm wrong.
Ooh, that was a great. It's comic. Dave Smith is so battle tested. Mm-hmm. So he put her in the corner. He's like, yeah, I got it. Like, she can't answer the question. So it proved what he was saying. If you do the research on it, we know pretty much for sure Israel obviously has nukes. And we've known going back to the 80s, but she can't answer the question honestly. She can't even acknowledge like what's out there. Checkmate. I mean, Dave is one of the best out there at positioning it and exposing other people.
Yeah. I mean, it goes without saying that the whole concept of Zionism in the state of Israel is a lie. So to even admit wrongdoing is a fatal error on their part, which is why they must obfuscate at all times. There cannot be any breaks. But let's see what else I have to say.
What's the name of your company?
You do know you are not telling the truth, and so you won't say it. You're playing a different game than me and Piers are. We are having a conversation about what's actually going on. You're a lawyer who's not allowed to incriminate your client, which is Israel. The reason why 2 former Israeli prime ministers have come out and said that Israel is committing war crimes in Gaza is because Israel is committing war crimes in Gaza. The reason why Israel will not let journalists into Gaza is because Israel is committing war crimes in Gaza. And the reason why Israel is killing Palestinian civilians in Gaza, and the reason why they're building up more settlements in the West Bank is because, as Smotrich has said, as Katz, the defense minister, has said this week, and as Benjamin Netanyahu has said for years and years and years, their plan is greater Israel.
And that is the reason why they're attacking Iran. But remember, guys, they're attacking Iran for a reason. They want to draw us into the conflict and create a world war, because they can't do this without us. You thought that Israel was getting money before? Holy fuck, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Right.
Yep. Dang, that's crazy. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going to happen with that, because war is so expensive. I looked up the Yemen, the Houthis stuff, 52 days, 2.5 billion just for that. That's the little Houthis. So I don't know how much we're going to deal with here. This is going to be bigger than, I think, Russia, Ukraine, even though that's more land mass because Israel's such a small place. But this is going to be crazy. You got more distance here. So you've got more bases, and it's going to be tough to strategically defend it all. No wonder there's evacuations.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we should have seen this attack coming as soon as the diplomats were being pulled out of the embassies.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know that the reason they're doing that is they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to strike. This is so insane. And yet we are one nation under blackmail. So when people are asking, hey, how come it looks like a healthy margin of the MAGA base does not want any part of this, and yet Trump is still going forward with it? Because he doesn't answer to the people. He answers to corporate special interests like everybody else.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I think the active part of the MAGA base supports this. I think they actually do support it. That's the only reason we have it.
Well, the friends that I have that are still sort of MAGA, they're not with it. They're not with it at all. But they're like, well, this is what we got. We gotta roll with it. You know, I think that Trump came in thinking that maybe he still could find a way to not allow this next step to happen between Israel and Iran. But once he came in, there really wasn't anything he could do about it. As it is with most people that aspire the highest office of the land, if you're not already bought and sold, and you have some sense, like even maybe just a little bit, an ounce of integrity left, you might come in thinking that you could still run the play, but then you're not able to. Because I actually really believed Trump when he said that he was going to be the peace president, that he was really going to try. And I think that he tried, and it happened very quickly, was not able to. I have no proof and no backing of this. I, as someone who, at the beginning, when Israel, with the attacks on October 7th, when they happened, I remember I had a conversation with you, Peter. I was actually in Washington, D.C., and we were having a back and forth argument, and I was saying that Israel has the right to defend itself and everything like that. And as time went on and we started to see what Israel was doing in response to this attack, it was just it's irreconcilable. It's completely irreconcilable. You add that with all of the blackmail and the extortion in the United States as a result of Israeli intelligence and whatever it is that Israel is doing to allow Americans in power to not distance themselves from the state of Israel. And I think we end up with I really struggle to find my words in this because I'm just thinking about people dying, continuing to die, like every day.
You know, when we get people like you, M85, it's like you trusted Trump. Well, here's the problem. There is no one to trust.
Yeah, exactly. There is no one to trust. I didn't trust Trump when I supported him. I didn't trust Biden when I voted for him in 2020. I don't trust any of these motherfuckers. But when you don't have a choice, your back is against the wall. What do you do?
So Iranian kiddo, to your family, to your friends, to everybody, whether in Tehran or wherever they may be, we hope that they are safe. This can get ugly very fast. So just hunker down. We are dead set against this. To our friend Farbod Turanian, to your family, he was a supporter of Jen's. Obviously, he is, somebody who worked very hard to help unseat Wasserman Schultz, and I know this issue is very near and dear to his heart, obviously, as it should be to all of us. We want to be able to do more than what we are doing. But what we must be doing is continuing to get the message out there of exactly who Israel is, what they're doing to our nation, how the Israel lobby, led by AIPAC and a whole bunch of other NGOs, have been absolutely dragging this country straight to hell. Straight to hell.
They want Gaza and the West Bank. They call it Judea and Samaria. They believe that it's rightfully Israel's. Benjamin Netanyahu showed up to the United Nations a couple weeks before October 7th with a map where it was all Israel. That's the bottom line. It's why they've been controlling these territories since 1967. See, the truth makes a lot more sense. And by the way, you know that Israel has nuclear weapons, but you won't say it on this program because you're not in the business of telling the truth about this conflict.
And what makes this statement from Dave even more prophetic is the fact that he is Jewish. He was raised in this environment. He knows exactly what their modus operandi is and why they say what they say. And yes, Netanyahu did show up with that map, showing it as all Israel territory. And we have gone right along with it. And at what point do we break away? Thomas Massie can't do this all by himself. Whereas you still have people like AOC putting out messages like Israel still has the right to defend itself. No, people have the right to defend themselves. Nations don't have shit. Remember at one time we were Middle Earth. I mean, if you look at the world and you look at the map, especially South America and Africa, they used to be one perfectly fitted puzzle piece. Mm-hmm. At some point along the way, we broke away. And just as a nation, we have found ourselves not seeing each other as one nation, but as a plethora of a whole bunch of different factions that happen to live within a nation. And there's many reasons for that division. But the greatest reason for it is because there were people that decided that they were going to take things too far, that the system could somehow sustain itself. Like I did when I was president of the United States. I passed NAFTA. I passed normal trade relations with China. I passed the crime bill. I passed the Telecom Act, and I overturned Glass-Steagall. And yet somehow people thought this nation could survive by all of those things happening. No, it can't. And Israel just makes it that much worse. But kudos to Mr. Smith.
It almost makes you very nostalgic when you bring up leaders of the 90s. I don't know. It just feels like they were simpler times, even though it's just fucked up in different ways,
No, I think in some ways that the things that happened in yesteryear takes a while for us to fully realize how we ended up where we are. It doesn't just happen overnight. Yeah. So many of the things that we thought were great about this nation died when JFK was assassinated. Mm-hmm. It took a long time for people to see that reality. It took Malcolm's assassination. It took MLK's assassination. It took Bobby's assassination. It took all of these coups. It took the fact that people still don't want to look into the truth about why Nixon was impeached or would have been impeached. Mm. People still don't want to look into all of the bad things that Carter did as president, rather than people just assuming that he was just a meek and simple man who ended up in the White House. Not true. In fact, a lot of the things he did were things that he had already set in place for Reagan to just take to the next step once he got to the White House. We have been heading in this direction for a long time, guys. This didn't just happen overnight, as much as I hate to say that, but we are it's like a game of musical chairs, and we're the ones looking around recognizing that there's only like one or two chairs left, and we're fucked. That's just kind of where we are right now. If you really took a survey right now and asked the average person in this country, Do you want to go to war on behalf of Israel? Do you want to go to a world war against Iran? How many people realistically would say, yes, I will do that? And the one thing you guys have probably noticed, it's very commonplace when it comes to the Zion-Nazis, especially in this country. They are the biggest cuck pussies walking this fucking planet. They would never lift a finger to defend this nation. In fact, they would lift a finger to defend Israel before they would defend the United States. And to me, those are traitors of our country. When I see people wearing that America, the USA, Israel lapel, fuck those people. Fuck them. And they should be cast out like the fucking lepers that they are. That's why we're here right now. We are live, and this is going to be seen by thousands of people, and I don't give a flying fuck who hears it. Fuck every last one of those Zion Nazis that are in this country. Fuck Wasserman Schultz and everyone who has protected her for years, whether you support her ideology or not, because he did it for your career, or because he didn't like Jen, because Jen was too honest for your liking, like anybody else. When blood is being spilled, when innocent children have their heads blown off, I bring my black brother and my Latino brother on this podcast tonight to unmask what real racism is, because I get sick and tired of everybody talking about what they think racism is in the United States. You don't have a fucking clue what it is. Because Zionist ideology, that's real racism. That is, I am better than you ideologically, religiously, culturally, ethnically. I'm better than you. When the two people were gunned down in Washington, D.C., they wanted to throw a military parade for those two people. 100,000 Palestinian kids dead. That's not enough. Let's kill all of them. And you have the Zion Nazis that are out there that say exactly that.
You know, Peter, the reason why I've been so out of the game when it comes to politics, when it comes to activism, and the reason why even as I speak, I find myself kind of trying to be as coherent as I possibly can, is because I just feel like we have reached a place where it's not even just political and a secular issue. The peace that I have made within myself when I think about all the stuff that's happening is because I understand that this is at this point kind of low-key, really, truly a spiritual warfare. And I've had to lean more towards my faith at this point to get by when I try and grasp the extent to which the United States is in peril by maintaining this relationship with Israel. And I don't know what that says for the future of my home, of my family. That's where I'm at, you know?